Hello, hello. We are live. Welcome, welcome. Let me open the chat, make it bigger. Now I can see how it is, guys, doing. When you get to this live, comment your name and where are you watching from. I see some of you are starting to hop in, and I'm very, very excited for what I have to brought for you. And we are going to start in just 1 minute. Just wanted to make sure everything is here. And also let me know, this is the first live. Have you been to any of my trainings, any of my healing sessions, or this is your very, very first one? Comment first one or comment old timer if you've been here before. Regardless, big, big welcome. We're gonna go right into it because I have a lot to share with you. And on your time and my time. Some of you are lunchtime. Some of you are starting your day. Hello, Agnes from Philly. Old timer. Yes, Alison is in our all access program. So excited that you are here today. And welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Beautiful. Let's get started. I'm going to do this live also on Instagram. I may delete it, but let's play with that. Let's see. Officially, we're going to start right now. Big welcome for our masterclass. What if I'm not intuitive? Am I locked out of my Akashic Records? So I'm so honored that you are here, and I promise it's going to be an amazing training for you. Those of you that don't know me, I'm Patricia Missakian. I'm the founder of the Akashic Records Institute, and I've been offering Akashic readings for over 20 years. Akashic readings for 20 years and online trainings for about 11 years. So I'm kind of like one of the dinosaurs of the internet. I love to play with that, but it's true, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey. Some of you have been with me since the beginning. Some of you are just showing up. And what I have to say is, this is always, it's always the right time when you show up. So regardless if you've been working for a while, regardless if you've taken all my trainings, I invite you to show up with this class with the intention and understanding that is always next level. So whatever you are, work with me before or with other people, remember there is always a next level of connection of your intuition, no matter what you already experienced. So I'm setting that intention for you, and I invite you to do the same. So I've received always a lot of inquiries from people who think they are not intuitive and wonder if they have no access to the Akashic Records. We have one of the most in-depth trainings in the field of Akashic Records in the Institute. All you can think about Akashic Records, even especially and for business and money. So a lot of people come to me and ask, but what if I'm not intuitive? What if I can't access the Akashic Records? And so today we are going to bust that myth, and I trust that from today on, your connection to your intuition will be each day more and more strong. So that's my intention. And maybe you had your own experience, right? And trying to access your intuition through different modalities, maybe even the Akashic Records in the past. But if you're still not really sure you were there, or if you deep down, you know there is a next level for you, sit tight, knowing that there are no coincidences. Your soul brought you here, and I'm so happy that you are ready for this. Otherwise, you have not showed up. In our masterclass today, we are going to learn how to access your intuition with full confidence, how to say goodbye to doubt and disbelief. That is my intention number one here. We're going to discover how working with the Akashic Records can make it super simple to receive guidance, And everyone can access the Akashic Records, by the way. It is not something that only a few can access. And in everything in life, it will require practice and training and learning and showing up ready to learn, right? But that is not like a thing that some people can and some people can't. And you're also going to learn a simple intuition exercise that you can start to practice right away. But first, for those of you that are completely new, I want to take a minute to share my story with you. And because it has to do with connection, intuition, and Akashic Records. I've always been fascinated with what I call the world within a world. For as long as I can remember, growing up, I came with this incredible sensitivity. And however, being Pisces with Pisces ascendant, that sensitivity was tuned in to the wrong channel, right? I would cry for everything. And even not like, not from the place of crying because I wanted something, but crying because I would feel something. I would pass through the street and there would be someone begging. And it just like, I could just feel everything that that person was feeling. And that I'm that sensitive. And so I felt everything, I picked up on everything, and I didn't know what to do with it. Today is a blessing. But the reason I share this is because so many of you came, in your childhood with this deeper connection to your intuition, and each of us have a different gift. My gift is feeling. I can feel everything, and through the feeling, I hear things and images because I've been doing this for a long time, and I developed my other clairs that wasn't as strong, but my biggest clair is sensitivity. And I know so many of you, because I know you had gifts, and your parents, maybe because they were afraid or whatever the reason, or maybe yourself, you wanted to grow up too fast, or you wanted to show up different, you didn't want to be like that different person. And so you may have shut down your connection to your intuition, or maybe outside influences made you shut down your connection to your intuition. And that's why I say that my sensitivity was a curse, because I can still remember, family members telling Patricia, swallow that cry or stop crying, and and at that moment, at that time, I would see this as a curse. So, however, today I have a completely different view of that sensitivity. Because it's through this sensitivity that I'm able to deliver the powerful Akashic clearance that so many of you already experienced, that helped over 10,000 students to let go of what's blocking them, especially from connecting with the Akashic Records, but everything is life. Because today, I can tune in that sensitivity to feel the thoughts, the beliefs, and whatever it is that people are using consciously or unconsciously to hold themselves back. And passing through these sessions, they can take empowered action towards creating a life in alignment with their soul purpose. So, back to my little story. When I was 24, few decades ago, I am from Brazil, but when I was 24, I decided it was time to leave it all that I knew behind. With little that I know, today I know my intuition guided me to do this, but at the time I just wanted to get away from all that I was experiencing, all that through my filter, through my perspective, not being understood, right? So the first opportunity I had, I went far away to another country. I moved on my 24 to the United States. And I actually stayed there for 25 years. Now I'm back home with my family that I've met outside of Brazil. So at 24, I decided to journey to a different country and learn, literally, not knowing, but that's why I moved, to learn what I was made for. I decided to go. It was something like that. And I just felt this call. And it literally, from the moment I had the desire, it took me 2 months to arrive in Seattle, Washington, with a suitcase full of dreams and literally $600 in my pocket. That's how I built my life in the United States, with $600 on my 20s. That's it. However, going back there, what I didn't notice is that inside my little bag, my suitcase, beside those dreams, I also brought my victim mentality. And that victim mentality was like everything happens to me, right? Because I was so sensitive that I absorbed that mentality, and I created my identity based on what I experienced, what I read, thinking was my feelings, thinking were my thoughts from the people that I grew up with in Brazil. So I move away. So that's that story, right? Wherever you go, that's there you are. Wherever you go, wherever you go, there you are. And that was literally what happened. I thought running away would, move away from all my problems, but actually I brought that identity with me. And so one day I kept pushing, I kept moving, because even one thing is you'll be aware of the problem, another thing is you'll be ready to shift, right? So one day I reached rock bottom. I found myself in a unfulfilled marriage, my first marriage. I am in my second marriage. I was hating my job at the time as a graphic designer, and my big dreams nowhere in sight. I felt stuck. I felt lost. I felt like I was living someone else's life. And that day, as I was driving to my work, to my graphic design job, I had to stop at the side of the freeway because I was having a panic attack. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I literally, the only thing, thank God, that the only thing I could do is pull over and stop. And that's when my healing began. Following that attack, I knew something had to change. And I also knew I was ready. And so a couple nights later, I had a dream. And in that dream, I saw a group of women dressed in white. And this group of women dressed in white said to me, "We are taking care of it. We are taking care of it." It was such a profound encounter. It's like, I believe you had one of those, perhaps, right? It's the kind of dream that you wake up different. Something shifts, and connected to this grandmother-like group of women was like I came home. Something felt very familiar, like I knew them. And it's almost like, even I didn't have it all figured out in my mind, something about my purpose just aligned. Something about, what I was here to do just aligned, even though I didn't, So there was this feeling of being held, being seen, of being supported by something bigger than myself. And after that dream, something in me started to change. And it's also like life just starts showing up synchronicities. And so there was a class here, there was, a video there was like, things started to come together. It's almost like those things were always there, but I started noticing them. Because when you're ready, you start noticing things that you didn't notice before. So throughout that, I began my healing process. I took different healing modalities and I started developing my intuition. And then I had my first encounter with the Akashic Records, and that was like way 20 years ago. And to be about 22 years ago, right? So when I accessed my Akashic Records for the first time, it was like I made that connection. I felt that same safe, powerful energy that I've experienced once before when I was 7 years old, when my father took me to, a kind of like a religion that he used to go. And again, in that dream with the woman in white. And what I recognized was that I have worked with my Akashic Records many, many lifetimes. That was the first thing that it was shown to me. And I was finally stepped through my true mission to help others to also remember their connection to the records. And I realized how every single person and experience that I had in my life before until then was preparing me to what I do today. Not only to transform lives with the Akashic Records, but also to be an example for you. Because if I was able to come from a different country with $600 in my pocket and channel the most in-depth training in the field of Akashic Records in a language that was not my first language and inspire over 10,000 students starting with $600 and that victim mentality, right? And most importantly, to shift the perspective of my sensitivity from being something that I needed to hide to something that has transformed the lives of thousands and thousands and thousands. If I can do this, then anything is possible for you. Today, I believe this sensitivity is a blessing because it's through this sensitivity and my intuition that I'm able to see where my students and clients are blocked and self-sabotaging themselves so they can be free. And if I was able to move through all that, go on, create the Akashic Records Institute, then anything is possible for you. So I created this masterclass today because I'm passionate about helping you develop and trust your intuition. And of course, those of you that want to go deeper with me, at the end of our time together, I will share what is happening here in the Akashic Records Institute. So the first thing that we have to look is the biggest issue that I see is when people, and I see that so many times, especially when someone is just new and is just starting to work with the Akashic Records, when the intuition is flowing, they start being concerned if they're just making it up. And what I'm about to share, it can change everything for you. Through teaching the Akashic Records to thousands of students, I noticed something that is very, very important. Many times a student will, in the first classes and all, they will share like this most amazing experience they had working with their Akashic Records in deep detail, like, on and on and on. And then they'll be like, did that really happen or I just made that up? Right? And this is so common. And be very careful if you're doing that, because that's a form of sabotage. And here, why it happens. We all, whenever we are connecting to our intuition, we need to filter the information that we receive through our own paradigms and experiences. So what I mean by that is, especially when, let's say, you're learning to access the Akashic Records today and you haven't worked on developing intuition, or you're still in that place where you know how to access your intuition but you still doubt yourself. So let's say, when you start, it's almost like when you're fine-tuning a radio, like when you are between stations. There is like, sometimes you hear some words and then there is like that static, and then you hear another word and there is that static again. And so in the beginning, so it's like you had that channel blocked for some reason, chosen or not chosen, or just something that it was never in your field before. So that was blocked. So when we start unblocking that channel, it may feel like that static, right? So what happens is, when you think you're making it up to your intuition, instead of do that, because you'll be sabotaging yourself if you do that, understand that your intuition needs to find a way to bring that information to you that is something that you can grasp. Why sometimes seems like familiar is because the filter that we see life is going to help us in developing our intuition. Our imagination is going to help us develop our ability to see, the clairvoyance, the ability to see through images. And so, again, everything is about practice. So that the more you practice, easier it is to get into the right station. And the thing about the filters is like the information, your intuition needs to bring that thing, that message to you through what is familiar to you. So it comes in a way that you understand. So in the beginning, you come to you as thoughts that you already know, as something that you heard before, as an image that means something for you. Things you've seen, experiences you had, and that's an important point, especially for those of you that have the intention to give powerful sessions to others. Don't dismiss your life experience. It's your life experience that makes the difference and that will attract the people that need that message with you, because you lived that, or maybe you're still living, right? But there is something profound that happens when you stopping yourself and your intuition to come to you. So will come as thoughts, will come as things you've seen, right? And the thing is, expectations can take the best of you. Be careful with those expectations. As you work with intuition, as you develop your intuition, you're going to start expanding your filters, and this is going to allow you to receive deeper information that will become available to you. So if you keep doubting, you will stay stuck in this narrow place. But as you continue practicing receiving information through your intuition, you will develop your intuitive channels and you're going to be able to go deeper. This is actually where we have a program coming up called Exponential Life. And to get ready to the program, we start right now working on your intuition, teaching you how you can access the Akashic Records. So when we are going to be together for 2 days to connect with the identity of, your soul purpose, the identity that you're really here to express, and the field of potentiality, you already know, you already developed your intuition. We have a lot of days between now and when we're going to be together in the exponential life. So the key, right, to connect your intuition is and especially to become confident with your intuition, is developing and trusting so that you can understand the message that you receive and actually do something with them. And one important thing, and I learned that in the hard way. I had some amazing students, but that would be more claircognate. So I'm going to explain a little bit of the clairs, because perhaps just by explaining, actually, let's do something better. I want you to take a nice deep breath now. And I want you to think about a memory that you have, right? And I believe this is a memory that everybody has. Think about, take a moment, I'm going to give you a few seconds. Think about the last time that you went to supermarket. The last time you went to the supermarket. Just close your eyes. Think about the last time you went to the supermarket and notice what you notice. All right. So you can actually comment what are the things that came, if you're here live, when you think about the supermarket, describe what came up for you. So I will help you to kind of fine tune. So that is going to give you a clue of what is your strongest Claire. So comment in the chat if you're here live. We are live in both Instagram, hello, and our YouTube. So the last time you went to the supermarket, when I asked you to tune into that memory, what showed up for you and how? So Claire's is how you receive information. Now, you can have one more than other, right? And you can have more than one, but there is always one that is the strongest. As I share with you in the beginning, my strongest Claire is sensitivity. I feel things. And in the beginning, that's all I felt. I feel things and I would feel things and I would not know what to do with it. As I develop my intuition, the other clairs start coming in and start to get stronger. So now today, my strongest are the feeling and the visual. And through this work, I develop how to connect them both and bring powerful messages. But for me, it was always the feeling first. And so code messages, sights, smells, sounds, right? So there are three clairs that I saw the fresh fruit, so very visual, right? So this is another major reason that many people think they're not intuitive. Is you not understanding that each person receives intuitive information in their own way through the clair that is the strongest for them. And what I see happening in a big class when there is like, different students with different clairs, you'd be like, I always say like, be careful not to be looking at the neighbor's grass, right? Because someone that has a clair that is more sensitive, they just have to develop that and develop the decoding so they can, get the full package. Same thing as someone that is more claircognate, they just hear the message and it's almost like they know in their head the answer. So it's the most important thing that you need to do is not wanting a different Claire, but just deepen your connection to yours. And I can guarantee that's the biggest, biggest way to develop your intuition is understanding what is your strongest Claire and be focused. I'm going to give a specific exercise for each of the clairs that you can deepen your connection. All you need to do is to practice that every day. Practice. Intuition is like a muscle. The more you do it, the more stronger we'll get, right? So understanding that each person will receive intuitive information in their own way and not knowing how you receive information, that's where you could be sabotaging yourself. So people assume, remember I said be careful with assumptions. People assume that they will receive guidance like someone else does. So if your friend, it's visual and you are more clairaudient, you hear information, you're not going to see anything. In the beginning, as you develop, you will see it, as I've seen so many in my life and in so many of my students. So there are four main ways that you receive information. There are others, but those are the strongest and that most people have. So I'm going to focus on these four. I developed sense of smell. It's so interesting. And that came from developing the other clairs. But we're going to focus here on the four clairs. The most common are clairaudience, clairaudience, right? Clear hearing. This doesn't always mean hearing outside of you voices. Sometimes it could be, but especially in the beginning, you're going to hear voices inside your head. And I know what some of you are thinking, but it's like literally, and those voices could be like your own voice. Sometimes not, but most of the time it's your own voice. You see how people could be like, whoa, but that I'm hearing myself, so it's not from my intuition, right? But again, remember, very important thing I share in the variety in the beginning. Your intuition needs to find a way to bring the information to you. So use the channels that you use it. You use the information that you heard, right? That's why it's so important. The more inspired you are, the more you study, the more those of you that are my students always heard me saying, you wanted to be, creating daily deep connection to your Akashic Record. The more you do, the stronger your connection is going to become. So this is clear hearing, like you hear, and that can be developed. I will share in a little bit. Then we have the clairvoyance. That's the most common, right? It's clear seeing. You hear a lot. People say, I see this, I see that. Especially also pay attention, not only in the little exercise within the beginning, but start paying attention on how you say things, right? If you use a lot of I see things, that's probably clairvoyant is your strongest tool. When you ask a question in your Akashic Records, you will see images. If you see like the interior of the Akashic Records vividly, this is the clair that you have facility to develop right now. You may see colors, symbols, scenes, faces, the information just comes to you visually. Now, for someone that is clairvoyant, I highly recommend that you start creating your own book of symbols. I always say that to my students. So what does a book of symbols mean? What does symbols mean to you? What I mean is a wave for you may mean something. For me, a wave may represent something different. So you always need to remember that if you see an image, that has to do with your filter. What do you mean by a wave or an elephant or whatever the visual shows up? I have like this crazy metaphoric images, and it's always so much fun too. And it's always amazing how like sometimes the most crazy visual, like, okay, here we go. And then at the end of the session, it makes perfect sense. So the third clair is the clear feeling, sensing, my strongest clair. This is the clairsentience. You feel things in your body. Maybe you get chills, maybe you feel a heaviness or a lightness, maybe you feel emotion moving through you. And the information comes through physical sensations and feeling. So many times it's through that feeling. You need to also, it's for all the clairs, you need to understand what the feelings means for you. And that's how you're going to start getting, sharp and more sharp and sharper in your intuition. Then we have claircognizance. Claircognizance, as the name says, it's clear knowing. So you have a knowing of the information. You can't explain how you know, you just know. It lands fully formed. There is no doubt that in that moment it's just there. My claircognizant students is the reason I have the most in-depth manuals because those are the students that were very, very mental, right? And so, most the ones that most had a hard time in the beginning are the most brilliant practitioners today, because being a claircognizant, it helps you once you fine tune, once you really understand how your claircognizance works. It's just like amazing. So you can't explain how you know, you just know. It's like it lands fully formed, and there is no doubt in that moment, it's just there. And that's why you see how many claircognizants will be like, bring this deeper explanation, and then they'll be like, I just made that up with my mind. And so be very, very careful not to do that. So these are the 4 top ways, let's call it top ways, to perceive information when accessing, when developing your intuition, and especially accessing your Akashic Records. The key is discovering your natural intuitive gift and how to enhance it, so you don't doubt your ability to receive information. In a minute, I will share how this upcoming Monday, we're going to do a powerful Akashic clearing session, and something super special because I have the portal 22. So stay tuned. We paused. I don't know what happened in my. Oh, there you go. We're back. My internet on Instagram just went off for a second. So, intuition, it's like a muscle. The next thing I want you to realize is that intuition is just like, developing intuition is just like going to the gym and working out and getting your muscles toned and, more you go, the more you practice. And the thing about developing intuition, you don't need to sit 5 hours, in your meditation chair. Like, you can be practicing your intuition as you're moving through life. You can be practicing your intuition when you are like in the line to, I don't know. I actually don't really go to the bank anymore and stay in lines in the bank. I'm trying to think like place that you need to be in line. Yesterday I was in the supermarket. I was in a line to get my ground beef. So there you go. So you can, in the times that you like between something, you can develop your intuition. You can be doing those sharp practices that I'm going to share right now. But the most important to understand is intuition is like a muscle. You need to practice in order to develop. The more you use it, the more you strengthen it. And practice is how you work this muscle. So you wanted to begin by placing yourself in a position to access your intuition and your inner guidance. And this means you become focused and in the present time. You can ask a question and let what comes come. And as the guidance begins to flow, it will feel like just your thoughts or your imagination. But when you recognize that more and more, you're going to recognize this as the door opening. And all you need to do is to let it flow. So I'm going to pause for a moment and we're going to talk exactly what can you do? Who is excited? Who wants to learn exactly how to okay? Yeah. But then how, Patricia? So let's go there. So if you wanted to develop your hearing, a great exercise, and again, you can be doing this while you're feeding your dogs, while you're moving from one place to another, while you're in a line. Take a moment when you're home or anywhere and set the intention. And you can do this like 1 minute exercise. So this one would be like this. You're going to set your intention to focus on the hearing. So right now, if I take a minute, I can hear we have an issue with a water, so I can hear the water trying to come in. And it actually runs like right behind my wall in my office. So I can see water trying to come down there. I can hear some animals, birds flying over there in that tree. There is and you can look to where you are focusing. There is this bug that comes like it's almost like a grasshopper, and she has like this constant smell, this constant noise. So those are the first things that show up when I tune in. It's like again, you're fine tuning, and then you can go even further, like I can hear and I like looking at it. So if I look over there, I know there is a community, like I'm in the top of the mountain, so I can look down. There is a community over there, and there is like a little bit of talking of people. And then I know down there is the sea, and I can't hear the sea. I'm really high. But if I pause for a moment and I think about the sea, I can start hearing the sea. So when you're developing your hearing, you wanted to develop on what is there and what is underneath. You wanted to focus in the words between the words. So like something just hit my glass here, a little fly just outside, just went in and there's like that zzz. And the more I tune in, the deeper I go, more I can hear. So it's like you want to hear what is there and you want it to be switching between things, but you also want to hear what else is there. The words between the words. And that, as you start moving through life, I would even invite you to bring that into your conversations. When someone is talking to you, really hear them. Really hear them. And one thing that I always say when we start a class, imagine that you're just opening your ears and you're raising your capacity to hear. So it's like, you wanted to be doing. So for every single one of them, you wanted to be doing this. Like what is there, what is not there, what I know is there, what else is there. And you can start, as you're doing things, what is the message here? Start deepening that connection. So let me give you another example. The example of claircognizance. A way that you can practice claircognizance, you can think about, for example, you haven't seen a friend for a long time, right? So think about that friend and like, what is happening in that friend life? What do they need? Can I give them a call? Can I check in? And kind of like start, going through beyond. You can practice by watching movies and what do you know about them, like the real actors, their real life. You wanted to start using that. What do I know about that? And you don't have to check, just let that muscle get stronger. It's not about getting it right or wrong, it's about using it. What do I know about that? In clairvoyance, you wanted to look deeper. So it's all about hear deeper, think deeper, look deeper, feel deeper. So if I'm developing my clairvoyant and I'm looking deeper, I would be now like looking at the trees and I would be asking myself, what else is there? And you start seeing the nuances of colors. You start to feel that energy, to kind of like see the difference. This exercise not only going to develop your intuition, but life is going to have a different color for you. Like you're going to be more alive, you're going to be more present, and it works hand in hand. And so we talk about clairvoyance and then the feeling. Like how do I feel? What do I feel right now? Tune into people's feeling, especially those that trigger you the most. Start, instead of be triggered, start observing. And what do I know? Like start tuning into it. How do I feel when this person triggers me? How do I feel when this person makes me feel good? Start tuning in, like in the encounters you have and how you feel. And you can do this with people that you meet, movies, animals, and everything. So, who is excited to put some of those into practice? So I took a moment from what I was talking about to bring you this. But at the end of the day, you wanted to ask questions and observe. Be careful to not be like, oh, it's not happening, it's not, it's taking too long. Just be curious. For those of you that were here, who was here last week in our last week masterclass on the Your Inner Child Can Make You Rich? That masterclass is coming out very soon. So if you haven't, make sure to go to my Instagram and ask me for the link because it's coming down very soon. I was going to take it down earlier, but so many people are asking for it. And I'm like, what? But, at the least those that asked for it, I wanted to let them watch. But it is coming down by the end of this weekend. So In the inner child, we talk about three very, very important gifts. And I taught that class, the master class last week, because what we are doing today, it's building on that. You needed to hold on those three powerful gifts: the neutrality, the curiosity, and the imagination. Those are essential. Those are like the basis for developing your intuition, and that's why we talk about that last week. So everything has a path here. So when you become focused, when you become present, when you ask questions and you're with neutrality and you're with curiosity and allow your imagination, you let what comes come. And so the guidance will begin to flow and you'll feel just like your thoughts or your imagination. And that's okay. Please do not stop there. Recognize this as the door opening and let it flow. As you continue to listen or feel or see or know, whatever is your strongest clair, you become aware of the information shifting from using your imagination to flowing freely. And with more practice, you will find that your intuition needs to use less and less of your memories and imaginations to flow to you. But it's going to start there. Not all the way. You need to start there. So stop sabotaging and stop stopping yourself and just receive. It's okay if it feels like it's a thought you already have. It doesn't. No. And the thing is, it's going to get more and more natural. Each time you trust the process in your path and in your path more and more. Now, all this information is etheric. You cannot touch it, right? When we're talking about the Akashic Records, especially when you are working with your Akashic Records and your Akashic Records guides or your clients, if you wanted to learn how to help others through the Akashic Records, all this information is etheric. You can't touch the Akashic Records, right? But you can tune into it through your intuition. So if you're interested in learn how to connect and work with the Akashic Records, the intuition is going to help you enormously. And that's why we are going to have a 2-day training with the Akashic Records that we need to get you up on speed on your intuition before we start our 2 days together. So when you work with your Akashic Records, you are supported by the Akashic Records guides from your records, if you go into your own records, or from your clients, if you go into your clients, or from your business, if you access the Akashic Records of your business or your offer, and so on. You know what I mean, right? So, but the Akashic Records guides, they are like librarians. That's why, like, a lot of visuals about the Akashic Records is that bunch of books, and could be for some, that's not how I connect to the records, but that is like a metaphoric, symbol of it. And so they are like librarians, right? The Akashic Records guides, they will guide you through the records and keep you, help you to find the information that you are looking for. And most importantly, they decode the information so it's usable in your life right now. One thing is learning to access the Akashic Records. Another thing is learning what to do with that information. That's what a lot of people miss, right? So when you connect and we develop this deep connection with your Akashic Records, they decode the information so it's usable in your life right now. And the guides of the Akashic Records are there to help you decode and connect with the wisdom found in the Akashic Records so it's understandable. So you receive this information, guess what? Through your intuitive gifts. So in conclusion, you're not locked out of your Akashic Records, but you do need to understand what the records are, how to access them, most importantly, what to do with that information, and how you perceive intuitive information, and have guidance as you strengthen both your intuition muscle and your connection to the Akashic Records. Now you may ask me, Patricia, why in my huge list of things to do, why right now, and why should I access the Akashic Records, right? Why you want to access your own Akashic Records, or if you wanted to be a practitioner. But beyond everything, there are some amazing new trainings coming up this year, and they are absolutely going to support those of you that are practitioners, but we are doing a lot of mentoring for you to work with the records to support you in this time and age. Right now, with the development of artificial intelligence, you want more than ever to be deeply connected to your Akashic records, to your purpose, to your mission. Because very soon, and actually we're already seeing that, you can, when something comes through from artificial intelligence, it's you can tell it's from artificial intelligence. So, and there is a lot of studies coming into like brain rot, and that is real, that is happening. So more than ever, you wanted to be connected to something deeper. You wanted to align. I truly believe this year more than ever that most of us that are guided to work with me are visionaries, and you have something deeper that you can, the more you connect with your records, easier it is for you to stand in your visionary, in your visionary area, because more and more you see this, more and more you can do this, and there is a post done, you can do this, and there is a video done. You don't even have to do your own video. I'm not saying this is bad or this, I'm not, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that we, here in the institute this year more than ever, I'm refocusing, I'm repositioning all this work to support the visionaries that really have something, because everything is going to change. And the ones that are ready to connect with what is really, really, really here for you to do, this is the time before everything starts getting more and more advanced, right? So beyond that, every single moment that you live right now, you're creating data, right, through your memories, and this is recorded in your Akashic records. And here's the thing, it's not just your experiences that are recorded. Attached, when you look to the past, you can, in the Akashic records, you can look past, present, potentiality for the future. There is not only one future, there is a potentiality. And so that is why it's not just about learning to access the Akashic records and seeing one of the potentiality. If you don't have the support to actually create that, it's just food for thought, right? So attach it to every experience that we had, the feelings, the contracts, and beliefs that you created. That are, you created feelings, contracts, and beliefs and thoughts from that past experience. Many people are around, walking around in circles, self-sabotaging themselves, stopping themselves from living their purpose because they are carrying all these emotions and beliefs connected to past memories. And this keeps them stuck, especially from fully expressing what their soul is here to express. And most of the time, they don't even know why they behave this way, why they are sabotaging themselves. And this is how working with the Akashic Records can be the solution for many people that want to, pull away all these masks that you've been conditioned. You created your life based on the experience from the past, on what you thought was possible to become. But when you learn, and that's what we are doing in this upcoming program, when you really learn, deeper than who you think you are, who you really are underneath it all, and what exactly, how exactly your soul wants to express itself, that's when everything changes. So when that happens, you stop stopping yourself, and you can finally uncover who you really are and take action to make it become true. And who you really are is a combination of who you really are and also who you want to be. Because it's not, most people live their lives and they look around and they look at the bank account and they look at the house they're living in, and and they make that become them. And that you can see outside is just what you thought was possible from the experience you had, from the beliefs you created, from the identity that you created. It's where you are, right? So if you want more, if you wanted to fully, feel alive and connect to that extraordinary life, you need to pull some masks out that are no longer serving your higher good, right? And you have access to all the wisdom and knowledge of the universe within your Akashic Records. And so unfortunately, a lot of people are like, using the Akashic Records where there is so much that can be unfolded. The field of potentiality. When I talk about that, I'm talking about what else is possible, right? So I know we are coming close to the end here. I wanted to take a moment and make a special invitation for you, because you are here in the intuition. I'm going to share about two things that are happening, and you can tune in and feel which one is the best, most aligned choice for you right now. So there is something happening in just a few days. This upcoming Monday, February 2nd, 2026, is a powerful portal day. It's the portal 22. February 2nd is the portal that supports you and has this deeper connection to a portal of intuition and relationships. So this portal activates sensitivity, empathy, cooperation, and emotional balance. It amplifies emotional perception and intuition. It supports agreements, conversations, and reconciliation. It's when you wanted to start being prepared and listen more, react less, and pay attention to the signs around you. Everything we just talked about, developing your intuition, opening your channels, trusting what you receive, this portal day is the perfect time to anchor it. And that's exactly why I'm hosting two, not one, two, portal two, right? Has to be two things, two amazing things. So I'm hosting two special sessions this Monday. So the first session, we're going to gather for a Akashic clearing. And this Akashic clearing is going to be focused on opening your intuitive channel. In this session, we gather live, and if you cannot make a live for any reason, you will have the lifetime replay. And literally, this is the work of, I've developed throughout my whole life. And through this session, I'll call in my healing guides. And this is a session that your higher self is at full command of the session. My healing guides go to you when you listen to the session, regardless if you're here live or if you're watching the replay. It is that powerful. And the most amazing thing is that every time you listen to this session, you are able to go deeper. The healing guides are able to clear a deeper layer of, in this case, connection to your intuition. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Those of you that are my students know what I'm talking about. Feel free to share your experience. So we go, so in this session, I will connect with my healing guides and release what's blocking you to receive deeper guidance from your intuition. So it's a healing session focused on opening your intuitive channels, deeper, no matter where you are in connection to your intuition, right? And usually those Monday sessions, I do that every Monday for a membership that I have, which is the Healing Club Plus. And normally I do these sessions every Monday. Sometimes I open, and usually it's somewhere between $27 to $47. And tomorrow we have a second session. We have a radionic session. Let me share what is a radionic. So this Monday, every time we do a portal healing, I use this radionic board. And this radionic board works with sacred geometry and your field to open the frequency. This particular one works with the energy of the sacred geometry, the Archangel Michael, and the protection. And we set, every time we gather for a portal, we do a live, and we set 3 powerful intentions for the group. This one is going to be aligned with the Choo-Choo portal around intuition, relationships, and emotional balance. And for this time, I am offering something really, really special. You're not going to pay 27 per session or 47 per session. I'm doing both sessions for $22. So all we need to do is I'll share in a minute the link for you. And it's just a way to honor the Choo-Choo portal. And so if you want to join me on Monday, I'll send you the link. You get the Akashic clearing to open your intuitive channels, to do a deep healing on intuition. And right after, you get the radionic activation session to anchor 3 intentions for you to ride this wave of the portal Choo-Choo. Now, if you are enrolled in Exponential Life, please do not sign up because you're already receiving 1 month of the Healing Club Plus and included these sessions included. So don't sign up, please. You're already in Exponential Life. And you're getting the daily activations and you're going to get the trainings. We're going to have a training coming up, a live training on Zoom. So you learn if you're completely new. So what happens to Exponential Life? Actually, you're going to take a moment and share a minute about it. Some of you been to a training that I offered in the past called Akashic Awakening. And I have a lot of students that went through Akashic Awakening and they are looking at Exponential Life. And because Exponential Life has the part of the inner child, you were asking, is this the same thing? It's completely different. There are some trainings that I will teach you before we get together in our 2-day live. You're going to learn how to access your Akashic Records. You're going to learn, there will be some trainings in working with your inner child through your Akashic Records. And the 2 days that we're going to be together, it's all new. So I'm really, really excited for this program. And so if you are on Akashic Awakening and you're wondering, it's completely different. For the people that are new, you will learn how to access the Akashic Records so you can be in the same level that those that done Akashic Awakening. But the 2 days, it's completely new. So if you're wondering about the Exponential Life, for some of you, that may be exactly what you need right now. Just the 22 session, you're going to participate in the healing session, you're going to participate in the portal Choo-Choo, right? And that'll be perfect, just join Monday. But some of you wanted to learn more about Exponential Life. So I'm gonna take, with your permission, a second to talk about Exponential Life. Exponential Life is for you that are feeling for a while, probably, a deeper calling. You've done clearings before. You may even have learned to access the Akashic Records before, but you know you're craving for something more, a deeper connection. You've done the work, right? And perhaps things are better. They really got better, but there is something still there. The pattern that keeps showing up, the part of you that still hesitates before doing something that you wanted to do, the voice that says not yet, not ready. When I learn this, when I lose weight, I will do it. When. That freeze when it's time to step into your actual power. And here's what I learned with more than 20 years of doing this work. Clearing blocks is powerful. But if you go back to your normal life, we're going to have a powerful double healing session this Monday. But as life continue happening, same thing that I keep saying, if you go get a massage, I have amazing massage therapists come to my house every Saturday. And, if I have a knot on my shoulder because I'm carrying a heavy purse, and I finish this amazing massage, feel all good, then I go put that heavy purse. Guess what? The knot's going to come back. So same thing with any healing. If you go back to your normal life, the world will try to put you back in that box. Those around you expect you to be who you always been. Your culture whispers, don't be too much, don't make too much money, all those crazy things that helps no one. And if you don't have a new identity to hold this new ground, you slip right back. You manage the same pattern over and over again. And that is exactly why I created the exponential life. Because clearing the block is going to be powerful Monday, but that's one thing. But becoming the person who doesn't need to manage the block, that's everything. And so we are going to gather live on Exponential Life. If you cannot be there on the February 21st and 22nd, you're going to have lifetime access to the replay for Exponential Life. And you, even if you're the live, you wanted to listen again, there will be healings, there will be Akashic journaling, there will be a lot in those 2 days. We are going to do something most programs never do. We're going to help you access your true identity, not a better version of you, the real version, the one that knows her power, the one that holds her ground, and the one that existed before the world told her who she's supposed to be. So there are the way that we're going to be together these 2 days. We're going to pass through five portals. I'm on the portal 2. The first one is reconnecting with your true identity. Access the energetic blueprints of who you actually are, stripped of conditioning, trauma, old agreements, the version of you that existed before the world told you who you should be. This is the foundation everything else is built on. Before you become a child, before you were in your mother's womb, we're going to reconnect with that true identity. You're going to meet your inner child through your Akashic Records. And when you wrote today, there is already a healing session available for you from the inner child that we did live this Monday. So you're not going to just visualize your inner child. You're not just going to talk to her. You're going to meet her at the soul level of the Akashic Records. We go deeper than all the preparations that we are doing. There will be inner child healing before these 2 days. But when we are in the 2 days, we're going to meet her at the soul level in the Akashic Records. You're going to see the moments she decided to hide, or the moments, right? And we're going to retrieve those gifts. We already retrieved 3 on Monday, but there are more. The gifts that she had to suppress to survive. The third portal, we're going to reparent yourself from your true self. This is where identity shifts happen. The part of you that has protecting you becomes the part being protected by who you actually are. And when this click, everything follows. Then my favorite is accessing the field of potentiality. We are going to access your Akashic Records to see your highest timeline. Not what you think you should do, not what you think should happen, what you're actually meant to do. You're going to tap into the highest potentiality, your real path. I'm so excited. And then, Portal 5, we just cherry on the top. We're going to activate your exponential self. And you step into the version of you who are already living it, already visible, already prosperous, already free, already expressing her full gifts. And you learn how to stay in this frequency. So what really happens when you access your true, and actually let me take a moment and I'm going to post here the 2 links while I will share. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So this first link that I'm sharing in the YouTube, I can try to share here on Instagram. Let's see if it works. I think it works. Yeah. So I just shared on Instagram also. And now let me get the second. So the first link I just shared is the Portal 22. And then the second link is the Exponential Life. Now, if you are on Exponential Life, please do not sign up to the Portal 22 because you're getting as a gift. So now let me get here. And of course, those of you in the All Access Pass, we don't even need to answer that question. Of course, it's all yours. So let's see. Did I got 2 different ones? Let me know if we got both links. Come on, paste. Yeah, I can see here was both links. All right, so just want to take a moment for those of you that wanted to enroll. So, where I was in my notes. Let me know if you have any questions. And let's see where I was. So, let me know your questions while you are there. I will share more. The dates are February 21st and February 27. So, at the end of the day, what happens when you access your true identity? That's what we're doing in Exponential Life. Your intuition becomes clear, not whispered, not doubts. Your joy becomes natural, not forced, not earned through achievement. The purpose becomes obvious, not something that you have to figure out. Prosperity becomes flow. This table is called instant flow for a reason. Your spirituality becomes lived. So, what is included? 2 live immersions, February 21st, and the day after is a Saturday and Sunday, and February 22nd. Through these 2 days, we're going to pass through the 5 portals to access your true identity. There will be, starting now, and this is February 21st. If you're watching this video today, we are not even in February yet. So you get the whole month of February access to our Healing Club Plus. In the Healing Club, I need to show another board. In the Healing Club, every Monday, we meet for a live healing session, a Akashic clearing. And every Thursday, which is Jupiter Day, we work with my other board, the Fortunian board. Some of you participated when we did the 21 day. This is a board that I channel this board has sacred geometry, has the energetic aspect of your human design. We also work with the Archangel Michael planetary energy, radionics, and sacred geometry, and the 12 laws. So it's a very, very powerful board that is more focused. This board is more for general. We can work with many different things, but this board, it's all about money and success. So every week for the month of February, you get to experience this session. They are remote and powerful sessions, which means you don't have to take 2 hours of your busy week. You come live for the Akashic clearings on Monday, and on Thursday, your energy is held. The money guides are going to come. The archetypes of prosperity are going to be working with you and clearing what is sabotaging you from making more and keeping more of the money that you make. So this is also very powerful. And if you want to do just 1 month of this Healing Club Plus, is $222, and you actually get it as a gift for signing up today in the Exponential Life. And you can sign up in the Exponential Life start with $67, 5 payments of $67, or you can do a one-time payment of $297 and save. So you get to choose which you want. But you have all those live healings and activations. Plus, we are going to have, besides we're going to be working with the Akashic Records in the 2-day live, we're also going to have healing. It's like a no-brainer, guys, if you haven't noticed yet. It's going to be amazing. And lifetime access to everything. Now, I'm going to say just one more thing, and we'll be complete here, and I'm going to look at all the questions, and I'm just looking at my notes right now. So why timing matters? Here's why I want you to understand. The earlier you enroll, besides all that, there are daily activations happening already in our Telegram group. And the thing is, when you join Telegram, you cannot see the past messages the past activations. You're not going to be. You will be able to join. The most important thing is how to access the Akashic Records. Even if you come the day before, you're going to have access to those things. I don't recommend you wait. If you're here, just take it because timing really matter right now. The earlier you roll, the more preparations, activations you're going to receive before February 21st. It is what it is. So don't waste any more day. The women who do this daily preparation arrive at the immersion already partially transformed. The immersion is, it's not the immersion, like it's everything we're doing between now and then. You're going to arrive already awake, already remembering who you are. You already have worked with the Akashic Records. You're already working on your intuition. You're already working with your inner child. So the immersion is the culmination of everything that we've been doing between now and then. Every day you wait, fewer days preparations that you're going to receive. So just don't wait anymore. That's my advice. The energy of enrolling today versus enrolling 2 weeks from now, it's completely different. And your field knows. If you know, just do it. Don't wait. Another important thing, this is the only cohort, is the only live training on exponential life that I'm doing this year. I have a very busy, full schedule to deliver to my rock stars, all access and mentoring clients for this year of 2026. So I only can fit this exponential life this February 21st. If you don't do it now, only next year. So, and I don't even know if I'm gonna, it may be just, maybe just offer the replay. I may not do it live again, not sure, right? But this work, accessing your true identity and stepping into the exponential life across all areas, this cohort is happening now. This window is now, in February. May not happen in the future. I may just sell the replay so people are ready for whatever show comes up after, right? So after that, recorded access for everyone. So it's still going to be very powerful, but they don't get what you can get. They are not going to get the daily preparations. That it's only for who is doing them live right now. They don't get the live energy healing sessions as a $222 value. I'm selling a $297 program and I'm giving a $222 bonus. So it's like, again, no brainer. They're not going to get this container, right? So to recap, these were available for you. You can join me on Monday for 2 healing sessions, only $22, or you can join Exponential Life for 2 live days, February 21st and 22nd, and you're going to get everything that we are doing between now and then. And it's perfect if you're ready to go deeper, to stop managing patterns and actually become the person who doesn't have them. There's a reason you're here today or tonight. I don't know what time is it for you. There's a reason you know there is something deeper. And there is a reason you haven't given up on yourself. So even when everything else told you to do so, your true identity has been calling you, waiting for you, ready for you. And the question is, are you ready to answer? That's all I had to say. And I will shift into see if there is any questions here. All right. Thank you for being here. So love see your beautiful faces here. Agnes said, once again, so very interesting today. I am happy to hear that. So there is a question here from Matthias. How can I look further into what should use my spiritual powers? So that's exactly what we're going to explore in Exponential Life. There is so much more. There is so much. And again, I call this, those of you that have my oracle, actually have it underneath my other camera that is there. But those of you that know the oracle I channel, the Akashic Realm Messengers, I channeled that oracle 2019. And guess what? 2019. I need to pull out some of those videos from that time. In 2019, I've always been this visionaire, right? 2000, when I started talking about Akashic Records, like very few, like people be like, and with my accent, Akashic Record, people like, Aka what? When I was go to like network meetings and like, 20 something years ago. But I've always been a visionaire. And I have this thing that I tend to attract the most amazing visionaries too. And that's why I'm kind of like realigning all the trainings that I'm going to come up this year for visionaries. For those of you that really know, it's time to separate yourself from the crowd, because the crowd, it's just going to become more and more, chat GTP. I cannot, when I hear someone say you're not broken, or when I use internet, I also use intelligent artificial to help me. English is my second language, but anytime the first thing I say, please do not say you're not broken. Please don't say that in anything that you talk to me. So like everybody else is saying the same thing, because they're just, I don't know, they're getting dumber and dumber. It's like, be very careful with this. More than ever, you need to be connected to the Akashic Records, the higher mind. What are you really here to do? What is your unique soul signature? And the more you tap in, this is the year to tap into that. And we're going to change that. Exponential life is going to be life changing. That's all I'm going to say. So hopefully that answers your questions. And oh, you're so welcome, Mary. So good to see you here. Thank you. Amazing modality, provide information, clarity, and deepening of your gifts. Thank you. A question here: how can I access the Akashic Records through astral projection? I feel like I go from 1 to 10 and I can't look back. So you wanted to, so we do, so when I cannot answer what other people do, but I will take a moment to share, how I teach and that's the best way to do it, in my opinion, because that's how I teach. I always do the best of the best for my students. So the way that when you learn how to access the Akashic Records through the Institute modality, there are many different ways to access the Akashic Records. I'm not saying one is better than other. I choose the one that I believe is the best for me and those that are aligned to my kind of work. So I channeled a key of access. And when you read, so we're going to do this for those of you in Exponential Life. There is a hummingbird. Hello. Right here. Came to say hi to us. Beautiful, green and blue. Hello. Sorry. Squirrel. We don't have squirrel, but we have hummingbirds, we have tucanos, and we have monkeys here. They're amazing. I love living in the middle of the jungle. It's so much fun. Definitely gonna do sometime, not sure if this year, but eventually we definitely gotta do a retreat here in Brazil. You guys have to definitely come here. But getting back here, when you learn the way that I teach the Akashic Records, and you guys in Exponential Life, you're going to learn this in the next few weeks. There is a key of access to access the Akashic Records. And when you read this key, there is, of course, a attunement. After you go through the attunement, when you read the key, in the moment that you're reading the key, you're tapping into the fifth dimension. Like you're here, you're consciously in your body. And that's the way, I learned many different ways. I went through a whole psychic development myself when I just started. And the way that I can explain, the way that I teach is you are fully grounded in your body. You learn how to do this in a grounded way. And that is why it is the safest way to learn to access the Akashic Records. And the reason that my students get prosper, because you're not like, unfortunately, there is a lot of trainings out there that people just stay up there and they don't ground, and that's why they don't make money, and that's why life keeps, hitting them up hard. there is a way to do it grounded. So when you read the key of access, you develop the ability to allow part of your consciousness to be here. So you're fully aware of your body, and you protect, your body is sacred and protected. You're fully aware of your body, and part of your consciousness, in a way, will be doing a projection to the Akashic Records, which is the fifth dimension. It's not like there is not a place for it, but that's basically it. And if you are on my YouTube, there is a lot of trainings that I've done here on YouTube, a lot of videos, but you're gonna have to research it. I haven't been, very, very up to date on YouTube, but there is a lot of trainings on that, and that may support you. And hopefully that answer your questions. And if not, make sure to follow me also on Instagram. Is Patricia Missakian.us. And I would love, if you have questions like this, send me over there, because I may do a reel just for you to answer your questions. All right, my love, Destria, so good to see you here, my dear. You're very welcome. All right, loves, I don't see any more questions, so we are here for an hour and a half. So exciting. But when I'm doing the thing that I most love the most, it's like time just flies, don't even notice. So wishing you guys a wonderful day. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, patriciamisakian.us, or if you know my email, send me an email back. My website is Akashic Records Institute. You can also contact me there. Let me know if you have questions, and I cannot wait to welcome those of you in Exponential Life or on a Monday Healing this Monday. Have a beautiful one, loves. Bye-bye.